House of Hope. Bonjour.
Hello guys and welcome. Today we're going to be going through the Out of Combat Rogue Warlock Multiclass. Now you might be wondering, why are we doing this? Well, there's a specific combination where if you do Eldritch Blast while hiding while out of combat, you get to proc the sneak attack on every one of the Eldritch Blasts.
Around every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes.
Turn around, bite eyes. Every now and then I fall apart.
And I need you now tonight, and I need you more than ever.
So this is great because we're going to be doing a lot of damage in that way. No. Let's go through the Excel, and then we'll go through some itemization, and then we'll go through the combat and how to do this effectively. So, well, the assassin log, first of all, will have a very good chance to crit. We're talking about 64% chance to crit if you go down the crit route, or alternatively, you could go for the bonus damage route, but we'll talk about that. So, what is the build? The build is going to be using Greater Invisibility and Pass Without a Trace, or Hex, right? Concentrating on either Pass Without a Trace or Hex, while a Sorcerer or another member of your party is going to be giving you Greater Invisibility, and then you're going to be casting Eldritch Blast, which is going to be critting for a lot of damage, which is going to be adding double your sneak dice, and effectively this is going to be doing a lot of damage while you're not in combat, and this is just a very fun way to play an out-of-combat build in Baldur's Gate 3. So, let's talk about what the build is. I recommend going for 10 levels of Rogue and 2 levels of Warlock. This is a recommendation that I suggest. This is the build, 5 levels of Rogue, then 2 levels of Warlock, and then continue as a Rogue. The important choices are to go Assassin in level 3 if you're caught, or you lose your stealth, or you lose your invisibility, and you fail your dexterity check, that you can make sure that the enemies die very quickly in the first turn. Also, sometimes it will give you extra crits. And since this is an out-of-combat build, you don't really need to go for Thief for the extra bonus action because you have infinite bonus actions because you're out of combat. For feats, I recommend going for Spell Sniper, Dual Wielder, and getting an ability scoring Charisma. Of course, we're going to be using our Charisma, and our Charisma is going to be added. It's going to be added by the Agonizing Blast. It's also going to be added by the Portent Row to our damage. So it's important to have high Charisma because it increases your chance to hit and your damage by a lot. Alternatively, you could go for a Sorcerer variant and use Scorching Ray instead. I'm not 100% certain if it works with Scorching Ray, but that's an option. So how's your crit chance going to be so high? First of all, because you're invisible, you're always going to have advantage, right? So the math is that your crit chance is 5%, plus 5% from the Elixir of Viciousness, plus 5% from your bow, helmet, cloak, daggers, and spell sniper feat. So effectively that's 40% without advantage, which if you do the math, trust me on this, I did the math, it comes out to 64% of the time you get a crit. The stats, you're going to be focusing heavily on Charisma. Make sure you get a 15 plus 1 dexterity so that you are going to have a decent chance to hide. And I would put 14 points of Constitution so you don't just die outright, and then probably 10 in Strength. And this is the build. Now let's go through some items. If you enjoy the content, please drop a like, drop a subscribe, and yeah, let's go. What is really important, guys, is to get this expertise in stealth. The rest doesn't matter, it's really up to you about the rest, but you definitely need the expertise in stealth. For Eldritch Invocations, this is also important. You should get Agonizing Blast. This is going to boost your damage by quite a bit. And you can either go for Repelling Blast to get that fun part of the Eldritch Blast and just blast your enemies into all kinds of different directions, and this would be really fun to play with. Or you can go for Devil's Side so that you can actually see in Magical Darkness. Up to you. I would go for Repelling Blast for the memes. Alright guys, so let's talk about items now. So for items, there's quite a few options. The main difference between the two options that you have is whether we are going to go for a double dagger or knife of the Other Mountain and Bloodthirst, and effectively any dagger that increases your chance to crit. Or you can go for the Marco Heskir and the Spell Sparkler dual wielding build. And if you do go down this route, you should go for the Lightning Bolts of Doom buff on yourself. Additionally, you can use Valara Luv as a dual wield sword. Well, effectively, you're going to put it on Shriek and then replace it with Spell Sparkler. You're effectively going to be getting lightning charges whenever you're dealing spell damage. So you're going to be stacking those real fast. And then you're going to be getting a lot of extra d8s of lightning damage. And then the Spell Sparkler will also give you more lightning charges. So you're going to be charging really fast, but you're going to be dealing less crits. For your helmet, I recommend anything that increases your chance to crit, obviously. But alternatively, you can go for Birthright and get your charisma to 24, or you can go for Circlet of Hunting and having an extra 1d4 chance to hit on your attacks. I do recommend going for the Covered Cowl if you're going to be hiding properly. Then you want to be going for the Shade Slayer Cloak because, again, this will increase your chance to crit. And as you can see right here, your chance to crit is going to be 40% if you don't have advantage, but because you're going to be invisible, it's going to be 64% if you go full crit. Yeah, then you're also going to wear the Portent Robe because this will increase your chance to your damage by 6 for every Eldritch Blast that you're going to be casting. Then for gloves, I recommend wearing the Spellmight gloves. You can wear the gloves of Dexterity if you dump Dexterity for some reason, or if you want to increase your chance to hide by 5%. Then for boots, I definitely recommend the Swearzy shoes. This is going to increase your jump distance, and since you don't have a lot of strength and you're going to be invisible all the time, you might want to jump around to reposition. So this is the only useful part that I found in boots. And for Amulet, I haven't found anything that really makes or breaks the build, so I went for Amulet of Greater Health. This is going to increase your HP, your concentration. And for rings, you have 3 options in my opinion, and you get to choose 2 out of the 3. I would definitely recommend having the Strange Conduit ring on because that is going to give you 1 to 4 psychic extra damage, right? And since you're going to be critting a lot, it's going to be 2 to 8 extra psychic damage. And then Ring of Shadows will give you the option to cast Pass Without a Trace on yourself, but this is concentration, therefore you're not going to be able to use your Hex to do extra necrotic damage on every ray, so you're losing 3d6 necrotic, but you're increasing your chance to hide by a lot, by +10, so you're effectively impossible to find. You don't have to worry about your positioning if you go down the Ring of Shadows. Alternatively, you can go Kalu's Glow Ring, which will increase your damage by 2 radiant damage against creatures that are illuminated. Okay, so this is the... Oh, wait. And for bows, go for the Deadshot to increase your chance to crit. Oh, and one final thing. For elixirs, go for the Elixir of Viciousness. This is going to increase your chance to crit by 5%. Okay. We have a few options here. I'd rather use the Ring of Shadows than the Kalu's Glow Ring. And cast Pass Without a Trace instead of Hex, so we're gonna do a little bit less damage, but you see, every time you cast, you lose your hiding, so you have to hide after every time that you cast. Otherwise, you're gonna lose your invisibility. Yes, he's dead. We hide again. Move a little bit. New target. Crit. Bam. And he has resistance, guys. You have to remember, that guy has resistances, right? How did he see me? I mean, it's always very easy for us to talk our way out of it. Dice mode. How did he even see us? Very crowded area here. My god, that damage, dude. Now let's shriek as well. And now let's give him another tap. Look at the damage. And that's out of combat, right? And then you hide again. And then you reposition. And then you attack more people. You could even Perilous Stakes people in order to get extra damage on them. See her running towards me. Let's make sure she doesn't. She doesn't. You can't run anymore. Yeah, you can just hide, shoot, hide again, shoot again. Pretty much how it works. Okay, our Greater Invisibility ran out. So when the Greater Invisibility ends, you go back to your hidden buffer, who's gonna be away from the battle. You're gonna do an extended invisibility on yourself. Let me save. That's not extended, but whatever. Then we can continue killing them. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, that guy's coming for me. They're looking for us. Just make sure you're moving around if you're fighting. Oh my god. It's probably one of the most fun out of combat builds you can have. Just massacre the entire city. This is it. This is how it works. And it's really fun to play. These are the items again. And yeah, let me know what you think about it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like the content, please drop a like, drop a subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.